I've managed millions in Google Ad spend, and I keep seeing brands make the same mistake when it comes to Performance Max. They keep thinking that it is a full funnel campaign time when it simply isn't. The most common advice for people out there is to consolidate your campaigns into a single PMax campaign and just let Google figure out how much to spend on search, shopping, display, and video depending on performance, use advanced AI algorithms, etc. The pitch is basically twofold. One, the algorithm knows much better than you, so why even try to beat it? And the second thing is that PMax can push top funnel users through display and video to feed your funnel on search, which is so highly demanding on people actually seeing a display ad for you first. So the problem with this approach is that it assumes that A, all products are equal, B, that search and shopping perform optimally with the same ROAS target, and that PMax actually targets top funnel traffic. All those assumptions are wrong. So if we look at it, let's look at number one. Your products are split into different categories. So in this case, let's take a look at number one, all your products being equal, because you'll normally have them split up into something like called bestsellers, unprofitable, long tail, low traffic, etc. So if we take a look at an account, then in this case, we use a slightly different naming, but we use bestsellers. You can see it has a much better conversion rate than we have in Saboteurs, which is our unprofitable. Conversion rate is actually okay for first string, and in the Youth Academy, which is what we simply call anything that doesn't have enough traffic to get over the threshold to be called a bestseller or a unprofitable product. There is different performance across all of them. They need to be treated differently. Some businesses also have new products. Some businesses have external and internal brands, etc., etc. But thinking that all products are the same, that's a problem. So search and shopping, which is the second one, search and shopping perform optimally at the same ROAS target. So let's go into another account. So this is just pulling out some data where we'll take a look at, okay, what does search pull in, what does shopping pull in on a list of accounts that we have access to. So you can see here, some accounts run search and shopping where 5% of search of the spend goes into search, where others are at a much more healthy 28%, 20%, 22%. The reason why that search and shopping are not doing the same is because they might need different ROAS targets. They might need to be optimized differently. They might need some different things. I could add like a bunch of extra points here, but I'll stick to this point. Shopping will routinely be able to produce a higher ROAS than search. So setting the same ROAS target is insufficient for growth. Now, this is less important if you're just starting out or you don't expect Google Ads to grow. But if you just want to tap into whatever search shopping can provide, then it can be a good option to run PMax. But if you want Google Ads to grow, then figuring out at what ROAS level shopping will maximize the volume and maximize the profit, and the same for search, that is a lot better than just assuming that it's the same ROAS target for both. The example, of course, being that it's better to be barely profitable at a $20,000 monthly spend on search than trying to be very profitable on a $5,000 monthly spend. So some might counter this and say it's better to be lean and profitable, which might be the right approach in some cases. But if you're looking to grow, then the added value of spending $20,000 a month while being barely profitable is usually much better. The higher the spend drives more stability, drives more traffic, more data to optimize, all of which will help you become more profitable in the future. Limiting spend to being the most profitable you can be now is a mistake that most advertisers make when they're looking to grow. And then the third one, that PMax actively targets top funnel traffic. This assumption is a very, very common misunderstanding. I think I know where it's coming from. So it stems from everyone thinking that display and video traffic automatically means top funnel, but that's not the case. Again, we have display and video in PMax is tied to the same ROAS target as search and shopping. So in order to hit the same ROAS target for that you're on display as you're doing on search, then you need to do retargeting. So just because it's push advertising like display and video doesn't mean we're actively targeting people at the top of the funnel. So what should we do instead? 3 things. 1, you can consolidate your data for smart bidding, which is a win. most people don't realize this, that when they go from standalones, their more advanced setup and just plump it all into a PMax, the reason why it does better is because you just aggregate the data. The second thing is that you tap into search. A lot of people before PMax came out weren't running dynamic search ads, which I've been preaching for years you're supposed to do. So you tap into these 10-30% of searches that you otherwise miss if you don't run any search or any dynamic search ads. And then of course, retargeting on display and video can drive some additional conversions. It's still to this day a very small amount in most accounts. So this is valuable. The other side of all this that I kind of touched on is that you can't do much to optimize the experience, which means you can't make anything better. So if you know what you're doing and you're good at Google Ads, then you don't have any access to actually improve things any longer. So there's 5 things you can't do. This is just 5 examples of things that we do on a daily basis or weekly or monthly basis that makes your campaigns perform better. So one thing is we can't run any ad testing, landing page testing, etc. in search within PMax. And here is just a slight example where we went in, we did a test, we tried to have the client used to have trust-based ads in their entire all their campaigns, then the price-focused ads, and then we went in and we simply used ChatGPT to write a customized first version and do it across the board. It basically converted 2 to 3 times better than anything else out there. So I would say that this is something that most people should do and most people don't do enough, and you can't do it in PMax yet. Then there's testing different targets for different keywords, because the example of course being like if you have the keyword Nike running shoes at a 500% target, then you the keyword running shoes is so broad. It's like if you sell running shoes, that's a core keyword. You want to see where do you get the highest amount of volume for that, and maybe sometimes that's at below your typical ROAS target. You can't make any decisions on this inside of PMax. Being able to aggregate multiple campaigns into a single bid strategy, so you give the system more data, is just a super nice thing to do. Also gives us more data on how we can actually change things, change the max CPCs, change minimum CPCs. We can see projected ROAS and other things that are harder to see across multiple PMax campaigns if you're running multiple. So I love bid strategies. I talk about them all the time. And then a big one for me is this thing number 5 we can't do. And it's a little bit broader, but it is we have no way to know what happens if performance decreases or increases. Like, I get it. If everything is going up and to the right, then I don't care why it happens. Yeah, let's just sit back. Let's be happy. Let's count our money. Let's just get all the revenue at the highest ROAS possible we can. I don't care how it happens. But that's best case scenario. What happens when performance drops or starts stagnating? And that's where a lot of the conversations we have is, hey, we've been running PMax. It did well, but now we've kind of been stagnant for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. Once it starts dropping or starts being stagnant, it's very nice to know, is it because we're not getting enough out of search, shopping, display, or YouTube? Is it because our brand keywords are getting hit? Is it our broader category keywords? Is it our money keywords? Is it core keywords? Is it increased competition on search? Is it increased competition on shopping? What is it that means that we're dropping in performance or we're not growing anymore? And because one part is knowing, the other part is actually then doing something about it. You don't have access to influence much in Performance Max. So when something goes wrong, and let's just say you figure out what to actually do or what it is that's wrong, you don't have a lot of options to actually optimize it, because you can kind of change the budget, but that doesn't do much. Then you can change the ROAS target up or down. What does that solve? Then you can we can remove products and do some different things. We can play with asset groups, which doesn't do anything. So that's a problem. So everything is good until it's not good anymore. And that's really the biggest issue with PMax and consolidating everything. The opposite, obviously, of consolidating everything in PMax is to run dedicated search and shopping campaigns. Search campaigns targeting brands, categories, your generic keywords, where you test ads following a framework. You find out what should our ideal target ROAS be, what should our max CPCs be, and you increase, decrease, you make changes for that throughout the year. Then standard shopping, using some kind of sophisticated campaign structure to isolate performance without splitting out the data too much. So Smart Bidding can perform, again, around 300 conversions per month per bid strategy at the very least. I know that's different than Google's recommendations, but I disagree with their recommendations a ton, especially in e-commerce. So if we just go a step back and try to compare it. So PMax is focused on simplifying management. You have fewer optimization options, you have fewer insights that will fuel optimization ideas, and you'll basically do the same thing as everyone else. That is fine as long as everything goes well. It's fine if you don't have the skill set to actually run more dedicated standalone campaigns. But if you feel you're stagnating, if you feel your performance is starting to go down, then you just need to understand that there is another level. Changing asset groups and changing some of these things with PMax is not going to make a big difference. Going to standalone search, going to standalone shopping ads, it works incredibly well. It does require experience. It does require know-how. It gives you a bunch of vast optimization options and areas to go. It gives you more insights to help fuel some of these optimization ideas. And it is a way to actually take everything a step further, but it does require that you know what you're doing. Summarizing a little bit what we've learned today. Throwing everything in to PMax campaigns is akin to throwing pasta on the wall and see what sticks. You basically just apply ROAS target, give Google a bunch of products and landing pages, and whatever it can hit it's the target ROAS on, it will spend on. The second thing is that dedicated search and shopping campaigns allow you to take it one step further and optimize in two ways. One, maximize performance from your highest performance segments. You can identify low performance segments. You can improve low performance segments with different optimization tactics, like whether it's in the platform with using bidding strategies, etc., or off the platform completely. The third one is just remember, dedicated search and shopping campaigns do require some know-how. So if you've only worked with PMax in the past, then you have some learning to do. There's plenty of resources. Anything before 2023 will still be applicable for a lot of things. Spending the time of learning and applying some of these tactics can really allow a huge unlock in your account. So that was it for me today. Subscribe for more tips. There's a new video on Google Ads out every single week. If you have any thoughts, any comments, I'd love to hear from you in the comment sections. See you later.